Hey everybody, we're back at the Sacred Valley Annual Spiritual and Metaphysical Fair. I have a wonderful speaker here. Her name is, I wrote it down, Joy of the Universe. Joy Child of the Universe. I skipped a word and I apologize. I got so excited, I'm skipping words already. She is a speaker, a teacher, a researcher, an author, and a student. And I'm absolutely honored to have you here. Do you want to let everybody know what you do, what services you provide? And we'll just start there and then we'll get into your book.
Okay. Well, I'm honored to be here, and thank you very much. It's always wonderful to get information there. What was your first question? Sorry, I have Alzheimer's sometimes.
No worries.
Great mind, but it's very short sometimes.
What products and services do you offer?
Well, right now, I am a team member with Kangen Water System, and the goal of Kangen is to be in each and every household throughout the world and business, and working on letting go or deleting the water bottle, because water bottles are just made out of diesel fuel.
Yes.
And yeah, they're so dangerous for our health, our body, our minds, our everything about us. And that's why people are getting sick. I believe that's my truth. I may not be someone else's, but that's my truth. I also am an author, and I wrote my first book, and I'm supposed to be doing a whole red little wagon full of books, of which will come. I work with the Federation Council of Love, Light, and Truth. So usually when I'm in conversation, whether it be on the phone or one-on-one or in a group setting, I start getting very hot, and they start coming through. And yeah, they've been with me since I was 4 years old, probably even before that. But I'm actually an ambassador for them, and it's been just since like 2005, I think it was.
And what is your book about and what inspired that?
Oh, Spirit inspired that all the way. My book has 5 different chapters. There's one on the history of the world from my perspective, from when I was 4 years old until I finally wrote the book. And this is all my perspective. The next chapter is spirituality, the ego, a little bit of religion and a little bit of politics, because you got to take the baby steps, right? So they're just little baby steps, but information is what we need. And what we need is the truth. We don't need any more lies or confusion, because there's no something that's time for us to grow up and evolve and start taking a little bit bigger than baby steps.
Absolutely. And we were discussing, and I'm looking forward to having you back on the show. You're actually going to be a guest in November. So I don't want to get too much into your awakening, but what drew you to this? Like, has this been an entire life thing? Like, some people come into this reality eyes wide open. Some people, like me, just have it hit them in the face like a 2x4, and some of it's gradual. So how did this really happen for you?
Looking in my grandparents' closet, and they had mirrors at that time. And you're talking, I don't want to date myself, but it was before the 70s. And I remember looking in the mirror going, who are you? Like I was in a strange body. And when I was 4 years old, I remember standing outside during a these people are nuts, they're crazy. What am I doing here? So it's been an ongoing process for me, but I believe that is part of my process. There may be some people that have gone through similar. Maybe they have gone through it later, but I believe that we all come here with a time and a purpose for what we're going to awaken. Some are, like you said, basically just the blue
Yeah.
already charged up and ready to go.
Oh, okay.
And some it takes a while. They experiences to understand. And all of a sudden, you go, "Point."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was deploying when something just happened. So where can everybody find your products and services? And I'm actually going to hold some of these up. So this is the water treatment system you were talking about. Do you want to go into a little more detail about what this does and where people can find it?
Yeah. Well, you would have to contact me. I am at joychild369@gmail.com. So that's JOY, so HILD 369@gmail.com. And my pictures on the back as well, the information. And also, this is a system that sits on your kitchen countertop, and you can plug it into your kitchen sink tap. So it's portable, you can take it anywhere. This is the next version, the version that's okay for Canada and the United States. The next level up, you can take it anywhere in the world, and it's the plugins so that one is our next, gonna be our next investment. We're looking for team members. Now, it's not a pyramid thing. This is, we all work together because the company wants every household in the business to have that, you know, and I think it's a great idea. I've noticed so I have dropped weight. I didn't lose it because if you lose something, you're going to get subconsciously.
Smart.
Right? So when you drop something, you do that usually on purpose. So I've dropped probably about 10 pounds in the past 6 months. Just it had pH from 2.5 to 11, and the 2.5 and 11 are acidic water. So when you're eating your vegetables, the herbicides and pesticides and all the other sides, they all have oil-based products on it. So soap and water, you're not going to take them off. This machine, I use a little salad spinner.
Yep.
And I put my fruits and vegetables in there. Let them sit for about 5 minutes. Give them a little spin after that. And then you put them on a towel, dry them on, make my salad or whatever. And the bottom is just atrocious. And we purchase organic vegetables. And it's still nasty.
That's really interesting that you bring this up, and I'm going to scroll here for a second. I just did a show on light frequency last night, and one of my guests was talking about how romaine lettuce is much smaller now because they have to strip off the first 4 layers because of the E. coli. Well, if they're spraying that on top, that's not getting it all off. So a product like this would be absolutely fundamental in really keeping that off of our fruits and vegetables. I think that's a wonderful product. And it's something I think we should actually look further into. We've been talking about a reverse osmosis system because, you know, when your water turns yellow for a week, you're like, I don't think I even want to bath in that right now.
No, exactly. And reverse osmosis actually takes out the minerals that your body needs. This machine does not.
Oh, okay.
30 seconds after you drink this water, your body is already hydrated. So you start drinking, like as you start drinking this, apply it daily. You know how the doctors always say, oh, you got to drink, you know, X amount of liters a day. You don't have to with this because it's constantly maintaining a balance, pH level balance in your body with alkaline. So, and it functions with your body, and it hydrates your brain in 30 seconds.
That is amazing. I'm actually going to go over and get a sample later because I want to try that out.
You don't get bloated.
Really?
Yes, and that's a big major thing. That's where I've dropped a lot of my weight because it's actually helping me. These tight shoes that qigong. I do those practices as well. And it's all about maintaining, right? The proper maintaining.
Yeah.
You know, and eating properly. And this definitely helps. The machine is fabulous. It is the best investment I've ever made. And you know, like my partner and I are looking for team members to join us because we all become a team. And what we do is we help you with the people that have helped us. And I'm leader. You know, spread the word.
Yeah.
You know, if you want it to happen just for your own self, that's fine. If you're going to expand from that, that's fine too. We'll help you. We'll send you videos. You know, you can always, for research, start off with Pat Boone with Candid Water on YouTube. He has a friend of his that does demonstration. And Pat Boone, if anybody knows Pat Boone, he is a very stealthy businessman. Thank God he doesn't take things for granted. He checks things out. He investigates. And he does his due diligence. So if any recommendations are coming from Pat Boone, perfect.
Absolutely. So before we take off here, I want to get everybody to know where to get your book, and I'll hold that up as well, because you gave me a brief synopsis of it earlier, and I actually think I'm going to end up buying a copy of it here this weekend, because it's right up the alley of Helen's book, hon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be some fundamental reading. Where can people find this book, and where can they get the copy?
Book on Amazon.ca.com. Type in 1 Year by Joy Child, and it'll pop up right up on your screen. My book was actually called What If? Here was brewing over there. And it's basically, that's how I've lived my life for this entire life. Is 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot up in the air, and it's just like, okay, where am I going to go now? So,
absolutely, and I'm going to have to check out your book, because you've got my interest peaked here. So, and I don't read that much, so that's saying something. I absolutely. Do you have a website or anything that?
Not yet. My nephew tried to doing up a website, and I just met a lady here that says, "Oh, I do websites," and I said, "Oh, okay, this sounds great." So we'll see. But I am on Facebook.
You're on Facebook under Joy Child.
And it's supposed to be Universe, but they won't let me correct it. So it's UNVIERSE.
UNVIERSE. Because I'm going to add you, because I'm going to want to bring you back in November so we can get into your full story, because even in the few minutes I had with you over at your booth, you are an absolutely fascinating human being, and I'm looking forward to a much longer conversation. I want to thank you for your time this morning, and I will absolutely be grabbing a copy of your book. Thank you very much, Joy.
That was fun.